What is going on, fam? How is everybody doing? It's been a hard day. I know it's been a hard day, fam. Have your libation, your tea, whatever. Please have it available for you to kind of relax into this moment that we are in. Listen. You have Hunter Biden, ladies and gentlemen, walking around with all of the privilege of whiteness, and he still gets to walk around and look respectable. And they're saying he had an addiction and he probably shouldn't go to jail, and we should be sympathetic. And somebody asked me on Twitter, Yvette, do you want revenge or do you want justice? And to that I say, how stupid are you to ask me that? The person in my Twitter thread, you might as well just go on and delete that. Hey, fam, before anybody asks, I went for a run. I think I burnt myself today. So what's going on with Yvette's neck? Just so you know, I don't want, did somebody, what happened to her? That's what happened. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new here. Okay? If you are not, you should already be subscribed. And I have the chat set to subscribers only, so you're gonna be messed up if you try. we gotta do what we gotta do. But listen, fam, listen. I want everybody to understand that there is nothing that Hunter Biden can do to where people can't say he's not a sympathetic person. He's not a sympathetic character. We, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to bring up all the stuff I have seen, all the pictures of the crack pipe and things like that. I'm not going to bring up the video of Joe Biden talking about, well, if you got a gun and it's mandatory minimums. He was talking real tough before his kid did what he did, and before his kid reportedly, if y'all saw what came out on the trial, let's just talk about, before we get into like what's supposed to happen and what happened at Tulsa. They say he got the ex-wife of the wife of his deceased brother. Remember, the brother died of brain cancer. These little chickabugs keep getting me. Whenever I go try to do garden, these little things just bite me up. I gotta wear longer gloves. But anyway, they say that he. Y'all got to understand how degenerate this is. I want y'all to understand how degenerate this behavior is. They said that he got involved with the widow of his brother. He got involved with the widow of his brother and got her on crack. She said she off crack now, and she tried to tell him to get off crack. You gotta really understand the level of degeneracy. We have videos everywhere of Hunter with crack pipes and everything, but he is able to go into the courtroom with a suit on, and his father say, "I'm proud of you and I support my child," and all this stuff. None of that was available for us. Right? None of that was available when we started seeing, hey, everybody's addicted to something over here. What's going on? Like, everybody's talking about, you got that crack. What? Like, do you all remember in the 80s and 90s when it happened? You either knew somebody who was hooked or saw them, not like knew them, but you knew somebody on the street. Oh, I think he's crack. He's an addict. He's on some stuff. That new stuff. I was born, y'all know, I was coming up in the 80s. I saw it as a young person. Or you knew somebody who, hey, I'm trying to make this money. I sell a little whatever. You sell a little what? Let me get on over here. I can't be bothered with that. I'm trying to go to college. Like, no. So we all saw that happen, and there was no sympathy. As a matter of fact, everybody made fun of the addicts, called them crackheads and stuff like that. Right? Called them crackheads. Whose birthday is it in the chat? Happy belated to you too. But I made up all kind of names for our people who were suffering. And let me tell you, there should be no judgment for that. If you put any kind of things if you put something in a community that is plagued by unfairness and inequality, and you put something in there that makes them feel euphoria, they're going to use it. But no, there was no sympathy for that. You got to go to jail, and you got to go to jail, and everybody got to go to jail. That's what Joe Biden said. He said, there's never been a crime bill that my name ain't been on. That's what he said. But now, all of a sudden, all these articles I'm reading at the New York Times and elsewhere, well, we have to talk about his addiction. There are families. Your people don't get that. As a matter of fact, when we talk about what we don't get, we don't even get the stuff that's supposed to come to us in terms of justice. We saw what else happened today. The survivors, the last living survivors, Black Wall Street, Tulsa, didn't get any redress. They said redress is not possible. Now, I don't know what system they used or what their foundation was for the lawsuit, but I can tell you they said it's not possible. Well, the most interesting thing about it is that it has not been possible since 21? That seems to be the thing in our community where justice is just not possible for us. You can march Hunter Biden in there and put him on a suit, make him look respectable. His daddy love him, everybody love him, and everybody's talking about addiction and how I identify. No. See, here's the thing you have to understand. People say, well, why do you want revenge? And I'll get to some image in a second, but why do you want revenge? It's not about that. Listen, it's about fairness. If your brother, your uncle, your daddy got to go to jail, he got to go to jail too. We got him on video smoking all kind of crack. What happened to the mandatory minimums? I don't care when you stop smoking the crack. We got you on video smoking it. Head to jail. Why is it any different? See, what people don't, well, do you want justice or what? What you don't understand is justice comes when it starts coming for their kids. When their kids get locked up and see the inside of a prison cell, little rat nibbling on them, then all of a sudden, oh, we got to do something about the justice system. Yes, that is a way to justice. When their kids see it, then they decide there's something wrong with it. Yeah, stop talking that stuff. What be wrong with some of y'all? Is that what you want? Is that truly justice? I want to just show everybody. We got to just remind ourselves really quickly. We got to remind ourselves about Tulsa and what happened there. So let me bring this over a little bit. Hold on a second. Because I just want to do a little quick thingamajiggy. I'm going to try to share this little thingamajiggy. Let me get this out of the way. I got too much stuff in the way. So I want to share this really quickly, just to kind of give everybody a refresher on what was lost that we apparently can't get back and there's no redress for. I just want to kind of give everybody just some semblance of what was lost. Because when we talk about reparations, we talk about the lack of inheritance. What we don't talk about is that we were closing the lineage wealth gap back then. We were closing that thing, and then people started to plunder us, and it was not just in Tulsa. But let's just get a sense of it really quick. Let's get a refresher really quick. You're driving now, and this is a reenactment of what it looked like. This is from 2021, right? We're going through this thing, right? So we have this whole community, and it's ravaged. Now I want you to look at it again. This is at the New York Times. You all see it up at the top. Hundreds of Greenwood residents were brutally killed. Their businesses, homes, and businesses wiped out. That is our wealth being wiped out. Okay? The financial toll of the massacre is evident in the 1.8 million property loss claims, 27 million in today's dollars, detailed in in this report. Now, we don't even know what they could have used that money for. Right? See, what they talk about is the money that's lost. What you have to keep understanding or thinking about is how that would have been used to scale, right? What is the possibility of that? What is the possibility of that scale? Like what they could have passed down and what that passed down could have been used for. Right? We don't think about that. Okay. It's okay. It's all right. Let me go back down here for just a second. Can y'all still hear me? I had to mute something. It was making a noise. I said, whew. I'm just going to scroll down because they did a neat little kind of reenactment here. This is inheritance. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about inheritance right now. Right? Now, in a second, they're going to list more than 70 businesses, right? More than 70 businesses operated in mostly 1, 2, and 3-story red brick buildings clustered along the block. All but a couple were owned by Black entrepreneurs. Okay, look at this. We're just going to take a little tour. And they're giving us what these are. Earl's Real Estate Company, the Oklahoma Sun, the Exchange Insurance Association, Byers and Anderson, the Taylors, Little Rose Beauty Salon, the Mary Jones Parish School of Natural Education, Economy Drug Company, all of that. Look, I mean, just look at this. Look at all this. Look at what was lost. This stuff is these communities and communities like this. It's not just Tulsa. They were ravaged. You are supposed to be able to protect through law your communities. Right? We coming up on something else. Right? They're giving you names of everything that was there. They're giving you a reenactment of everything that was here and everything that was lost, everything that was built for people that came out of slavery. And by 1865 to 1920s, these people had built this. Come on, family. I'm just going to go through a few of them. The Shoe Shine, the Hull Shoe Shiner, the Eldridge Restaurant, the Brunswick Billiards, the Doc Eastman and Hughes Cafe, the East End Cabaret, I.H. Spears Lawyer, Hotel Gallery. Oh, my goodness. We driving down here, Home Undertaking, Samuel Smith, YMWCA. We're just driving down the street. We don't have this now. Like, we don't have this in 2024. You know why we don't have this in 2024? Because they destroyed it in the 1920s. That's why. Sanitary Barbershop, Nails Brothers Shoe Shop, East End Donut Shop, Madam Elizabeth Warner's Dressmaking Parlor, Gist Rooms for Rent, K.O. Abbott Printer, Welcome Grocery, the Dentist, J.F. Wells Physician, another physician. Destroyed everything. Dogs, man. These people were monsters. They came in jealous. How did these Negroes do all this stuff coming right out of slavery? How did they do that? We'll burn it down. The Pullman Cafe, the Tulsa Star, the Liberty Plumbing Shop, the Bell Barber Shop, and Billiard Hall. We got to build our own. We did. They burned it down. What'd you do about it? Red Wing Drugstore, Red Wing Cafe, Red Wing Tailoring, Red Wing Hotel, Red Wing Barbershop, C.S. Smith Physician. When I say plunder, I'm not kidding. What was this? Hold on. The Stratford Hotel, the Ferguson's Drugstore, Tulsa Waffle House. What? Come on. Look at this. They give you a whole sketch of what was taken. And this is a good little interactive thing, right? Like, you got to understand who we were. We came out of this and built this. Oh, and the white folks said, oh, no, you're not going to come out of this and build this. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to come out of what the suffering that you just came out of and build the stuff you just built? Oh, no, you're not going to do it. And we said there are laws against this. There are laws of you treating us like this, and we still haven't gotten the relief. Let me come out of here for a second to tell y'all something. These places were insured too. The insurance didn't pay. Right? So it's not just a thing of where, oh my God, like y'all were uninsured or whatever. We did everything right and they took it. We did everything right, and they said, them Negroes got a bunch of money, we gonna burn it down, and they did. And let me go to something else, because I just wanted to go to, for those of y'all who have been living under a rock today, this is what happened. Oklahoma Supreme Court dismisses lawsuit of Tulsa race massacre survivors seeking reparations. The Oklahoma Supreme Court on Wednesday dismissed a lawsuit by survivors of the 1921 Tulsa race massacre, dampening the hope of advocates for racial justice that the city would make financial amends for one of the worst single acts against Black people in the U.S. history that left as many as 300 people dead and a once thriving district smoldering in ruins. Now, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all part of the problem with our community. You see that lady right there? You see these older people who represent, listen, this is a clean case. This ain't no case where you got to figure nothing out. It goes straight down. It goes straight down. It goes straight down. These are the people who come from the people that will plunder. This is a straight line. You can't tell me that you care about, well, y'all were never victims. These people were, and y'all do not care, and you have not tried to get justice for these people. And you do not care that they get justice. Listen, if it was all about who was the survivors and who wasn't, all of these white racists who always say, well, y'all wasn't, it didn't happen to y'all. You wasn't a victim. You don't care about the victims. If you did, you would be over there saying, hey, we don't agree with what Yvette talking about, but we want these people to get paid. You don't, because you're racist and you're awful and you plunder these people for a reason. And let me tell y'all our problem. Before I get into what happened here, let me tell you our problem. We let this charlatan, Jay Morrison, named his thing after the Tulsa real estate and gave it $12 million. You would not give those people $12 million. We love hustlers and we love charlatans and we love crooks and we love wannabes more than we love ourselves and more than we love our people. That's the problem. You will go and give that man who was peeling off dollar bills in the car, looking, what a fake three-piece suit monster coming in here talking about, I came from the block. I'm rebuilding. You run. How was he rebuilding Tulsa? He wasn't never going to be in Tulsa. Well, he said he going to build us our own. No, you just wanted to make money. You don't care about your people. You don't care about justice. You just care about making money. And how it looks. Well, he said he going to do it, Yvette. He said he going to do it. We have this hiccup that we have to get rid of, because it is absolute garbage that we care more about that little man, swaggy, rich, and gave him $12 million. If the people came out right now, if the people who run this fund right now, do this, if we decided right now, hey, we want to collect money for some attorneys to do work for Tulsa and some other stuff that is lineage justice work, we wouldn't get $12 million. Y'all only want to give money. I don't mean y'all in the chat. I'm talking about the interlopers who gonna come in here and look at this video. And the people in our community only care about making money and feeling swaggy, rich, living through somebody who used to do whatever he did. You do not care about justice, and we do not care about each other. And I'll stand on that. Not as a group. We do, the people in this movement, but we do not represent the group. And the group does not represent us. And we are trying to extend our values so that they extend to that. But listen, y'all gave y'all money to a fraudster who allegedly, don't come messing with me, you mutt. Like, we gave our money to that. Not me. I ain't that crazy. I ain't never been stupid. And I warned against it. Everybody said you a hater. You let that man put these people's names of that massacre on his fund and walk away with $12 million. Instead of giving money to justice, fighting for justice, fighting for our people. No, he said, he see him in the Rolls Royce, Yvette. He was really doing his thing. Oh, we love a crook. We love a crook. We love a crook. Dye your hair real nice. Ooh-wee. We love ourselves a good crook. You put on something, get you a nice line up. You know, that's what Negroes love. Your line up. Get you a nice line up, put you on a little, don't let you put on no diamond ring. Oh, we go crazy if you put on a ring. We love a crook. We don't love justice and we don't love each other. And that's going to continue to be a problem. You can't have no community if you don't love each other. It ain't going to work if you don't love each other, if you don't want the best for each other, if you don't want justice for each other. How do you expect that to work? The 9-member Supreme Court upheld the decision made by a district court judge in Tulsa last year, ruling that the plaintiff's grievances about the destruction of the Greenwood district, although legitimate, did not fall within the scope of the state's public nuisance statute. So maybe they can bring something else. I do not know. Plaintiffs do not point to any physical injury. I've been trying to reach out to the attorney who did this case. I know he's been busy, so I would love to have a conversation. Just let him know. Plaintiffs do not point to any physical injury to property in Greenwood, rendering it uninhabitable, that could be resolved by way of injunction or other civil remedy. The court wrote in this decision. I'm about to upend this in a minute. Today we hold that relief is not possible under the set of facts that could be established consistent with the plaintiff's allegations. Now, y'all know this is a reparations thing, too. They're going to tell us anything. Relief is not possible. Now, well, you have to do something about it. That's funny, because I'm going to show you why. I want y'all to put a pin in that. I want y'all to put a pin in that relief is not possible. And I'm going to show you how relief is possible. As many as 300 black Tulsans were killed. Yeah, I saw that. I don't want to traumatize people again. The lawsuit was under Oklahoma's public nuisance law, and that was an opioid verdict that got a bunch of money over that. Then that was overturned, but it has to do with blight. But let me just continue. Arguing that the actions of the white mob continue to affect the city today. That's true. That's true. Those communities would be wealthier, would have more, would be worth more, and we don't even know if it doesn't extend beyond that community. That is the truth. To affect the city today, it contended that Tulsa's long history of racial division and tension stemmed from the massacre. The city and insurance companies never compensated victims for their losses, and the massacre ultimately resulted in racial and economic disparities that still exist today. The lawsuit argued it sought a detailed accounting of the property and wealth lost or stolen in the massacre, the construction of a hospital in North Tulsa, and the creation of victims of compensation of a victims compensation fund, among other things. You know, this proves that like white folks just be lying when they say y'all should do for y'allself, y'all should take care of y'allself, y'all shouldn't ask for nothing. We went off by ourselves, took care of ourselves, and they burned it down. Jealous. This is some jealous, just low down, dirty stuff to do. Well, y'all should just work. We created all of our own stuff, and you burned it down. That none of the stuff that you say is true. And you don't believe in justice. You don't believe in freedom. You don't believe in liberty. Just stop lying to me. The lawsuit brought under Oklahoma, the city. Yeah, I saw that part. We're doing the same too. Let me go to the next one. Public nuisance law claims are typically used to address local concerns like blighted homes, illegal drug dealing, and dangerous animals. Such claims were used in lawsuits that states brought against tobacco companies in the 1990s and against opioid drug makers, but many of those led to settlements rather than trials. And I'm sure we were trying to get some settlement stuff going on too. In 2019, Oklahoma's Attorney General used the public nuisance law to force opioid drug maker Johnson & Johnson to pay the state $465 million in damages. The Oklahoma Supreme Court overturned that decision 2 years later. Now, people say, well, that y'all should have got, it's too late. Y'all should have got that money back then. Tried. I showed you this before. I'll show it again. Repetition is learning. We tried. We tried to get it back then. This picture, let me show you. This is the attorneys who put up a tent while the homes were still on fire, while the buildings were still on fire. These are our attorneys putting together lawsuits and having people tell them, what did you lose, and going around making a tally. We started suing back then. You can't tell us we waited too late. We started back then and you said no because you are racist. This country does not believe in justice or fairness or anything else. You could have said then, yeah, you're right. They burned it down. We had proof that there was collusion with the police. Cities, burnt to the ground. Wasn't there a plane? We had all of that. If you were a people, right, that believed in justice, America, this wouldn't even be an issue. We would have been past this. You would have paid the insurance claims. You would have said, yes, you're right. A white mob came in here and took your stuff out, and we're going to take care of that. This is while the fire's not even out yet. They are outside filing claims, taking a toll of what happened. So it's not a matter of we waited or whatever. You have a situation where ADOS attorneys were on the scene immediately. They lived there. And we just didn't get justice. So, hey, white supremacists, what is the reason for this? Why didn't this happen in 1921? This is just awful. Among the most famous images related to the 1921 Tulsa massacre is a photo of two black attorneys. That's what I just showed you. Two black attorneys sitting in a tent among the ruins of the Greenwood district. The date is June 6, 1921, less than a week after a mob razed Greenwood, a thriving Oklahoma community. The men, B.C. Franklin and I.H. Spears, are surrounded by salvaged law books and a diligent secretary sitting before a lone typewriter. So tell me again, do for self is how it's all our fault. See, what we got to do, we just got to build our own. Listen, Your own doesn't matter worth nothing if somebody can come in and tear it down. You can say build our own all day. If somebody built something, that was the seed money. Even coming out of slavery, you hear me? These people came out of slavery. Civil War, we're talking, what, 1865? But not even 100 years later, these people were doing this. That's seed money. That money could create other business. That was supposed to be something for us in terms of our inherited wealth. Even when we didn't get reparations, we had people who were already doctors and lawyers doing all that stuff, and they burned it down. If they can burn it down and nothing happens, they can still burn it down. Y'all saw the story today of another, it didn't sound like a white name. It sounded like some spicy male was trying to start a race war. Listen, if they can do it then, they can do it now. America got to stop playing with these people. But, hey, y'all said, these people, our people said Jay Morrison was a new Black Wall Street. This man who probably has a 10th grade education and was obvious, had never made no money in his life, had a bankruptcy and all this stuff, and you went for that. You won't go for this? This isn't even getting enough attention. It's not even getting enough attention. Right? I don't believe, and listen, this is one place I have always disagreed with Martin Luther King Jr. I've always said this. I don't believe the moral arc of the universe bends toward justice. I don't. I think you have to bend it. And we're way more interested as a group in talking about 50 Cent and what he was doing. You don't know Yvette. He had vitamin water. What you know, you'll fight for that, but you won't know what's going on Tulsa. Well, I don't know. What is you talking about? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll find out. Everybody's going to learn. I don't know. I don't know what everybody's talking about. Everybody's going to learn. No way for you not to learn. America's coming at you swift and smooth. The injustices began in those days as Greenwood burned outside Mr. Franklin's tent. Still burning. The lawyers is working. More than 70 plaintiffs with ties to the community, some of them represented by Mr. Franklin, filed lawsuits against the city of Tulsa between 1921 and 1923. So wait a minute, we didn't wait? No, we've been filing lawsuits. We've been trying to do this. America has been standing in our way and been standing in the way of justice since 1619. The line is close. The loss is clear. The plunder is apparent. And America still says no. Plaintiffs charged that the city had failed in its duty to protect citizens. Instead, it had deployed officials to take Greenwood residents into detention camps and allowed their homes to be burned to the ground. Many Greenwood residents listed their property destroyed, their destroyed property down to the number 12 curtains, 6 pairs of silk socks, 1 violin. We had Negroes were playing violins. You hear me? Like, this is if none of this stuff happens across America, I'm not just talking about Tulsa, we are a different group. Now, I'm not saying that we still don't get reparations and we're still not owed and we still don't experience plunder. We do. We don't close the racial wealth gap, but you still have differences. Right? No, they didn't want that to happen. These white folks be jealous harder. Well, I can't do it. Many Greenwood residents listed they destroyed property. Some individual claims reach well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars adjusted for inflation. If you destroy somebody's wealth, they can't pass it down. But city attorneys and judges oppose offering restitution at every step. In one suit, Harry L.S. Halley, an assistant attorney for the city of Tulsa, denied that any of the city's police officers were guilty of wrongdoing, even though a state investigation unfolding around the same time identified specific officers as participants. Mr. Haley, I discovered through my own research, was a member of the Ku Klux Klan in the 1920s. So were at least 2 local judges. I don't even see how these people who are opposed to this look at themselves in the mirror. I don't get it. How? While the lawsuits were stalling out, other levers of government were being used to conspire against Greenwood. For decades, the neighborhood schools were denied funding equal to that of their white counterparts. In the 1930s, Greenwood was deemed by the federal government a financially hazardous area for banks to issue loans, making it an early redlined neighborhood. Interstate, see, it's not redlined if it's this Greenwood. The first one had money. The one they burnt down had money. You made it poor and disadvantage. You created the disadvantage, and that's the story of all of our poverty-stricken neighborhoods, just in a different way. Interstate highway construction destroyed parts of the district in 1967. Urban renewal claimed much of the rest in the ensuing years. A justice system that had been largely silent on Greenwood's property claims after the massacre facilitated eminent domain proceedings that made it possible for the government to seize privately owned land. So we couldn't get nothing for it, but the government didn't come take it. I mean, anybody can come. You can come get it. You can come seize it. Can't pay me for it. This is horrible. But I mean, keep watching basketball players do podcasts or something. I don't know. Who all got a new podcast now? So-and-so said, did you hear what so-and-so said about this? He said that so-and-so wasn't as good as so-and-so. You know, he played this position, he played that position. Did you hear what so-and-so said about? They done popped Caitlin Clark in the mouth. In 2003, Greenwood made another major legal push for restitution. More than 100 massacre survivors and their descendants filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city of Tulsa, the state of Oklahoma, and others. The arguments were similar to those of the original suits. The city had failed to protect its citizens from members of the mob and instead had empowered their calculated destruction. But the defendants insisted that the statute of limitations on filing such lawsuits had long expired. What? The defendants? Well, listen, this is a case where statute of limitations should not apply. Because we filed within the statute of limitations and you wrongly told us no because you were Ku Klux racist. So the statute of limitations should be null and void right now. We all know what happened. It's a matter of history. Okay. A federal judge ultimately agreed, citing the lawsuits filed by Mr. Franklin and others as evidence that Greenwood residents had already had their shots at restitution. Yes, and they had their shot, and Ku Klux Klan members, racists, were the ones, and the police and the judges. So that means you didn't have a shot. If the person at the other side hearing the lawsuit is a racist mongrel dog, then you didn't have a shot. In the warped view of the court, those courageous in initial efforts to seek justice in the face of obstinate attorneys, at least one of whom was aligned with the Klan, actually undermined later attempts. Oh my goodness. And remember what the paper was. Part of the reason, right, was because the papers came out and said, oh, well, y'all see what the Negroes did? You talk about misinformation. White newspapers, biggest purveyor of misinformation then and today for a lot of stuff. Now y'all will put this stuff in the New York Times and then put some stuff in there about how Hunter Biden deserves our And so we Negroes get confused. Well, they did a good article one time, so maybe they all right. Let me show you something. Let me show you what real justice looks like. Can we just have a conversation about what real justice looks like? Okay? I just want to do that for a second. So, Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Act. This report was published in the Trump administration. I think this is Pompeo, who was at the Secretary of State during that time. Right? This is for the Jewish community. Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Act report. The Holocaust was one of the most horrific atrocities in world history. The Nazi regime murdered 6 million Jews, including 1.5 million children and millions of other individuals, motivated by its twisted ideology of an ethnic hatred. The Holocaust was also one of the largest organized thefts in human history. Theft, you say? I agree, but it wasn't the only time. The Nazi regime's confiscation, seizure, and wrongful transfer of the Jewish people's property were designed not only to enrich the Nazi regime at the expense of European Jewry, but also to permanently eliminate all aspects of Jewish cultural life. As World War II ended in Europe, the United States led the effort to seek measure. Now, mind you, I'm not opposed, but that did not happen here. But we can go across the seas. We can seek justice for stuff that happened in Europe, but for the Negro, 1921 massacre, you can't do nothing. It's been a long time. Well, I can tell you something else. The Holocaust has been a long time ago too, but we seek justice for it, don't we? Okay. As the United States has led the effort to seek a measure of justice in the form of restitution. Restitution? I thought we had a statute of limitations on that. or compensation for individuals whose assets were stolen during the Holocaust. The effort began while Allied troops were liberating efforts Europe and continues to this day. In 2009, the United States and 46 countries committed to rectify the consequences of these wrongful asset seizures and to promote the welfare of Holocaust survivors around the world by endorsing the Terrorism Declaration, or however you pronounce that. The Just Act report is an essential tool to highlight the important actions countries have taken to provide restitution and compensation for property confiscated during the Holocaust, subsequently nationalized during the communist era. It will also expose the terrorism. I've read that word before many a time, but I never learned how to pronounce it. Implementation gaps, detail the vital work which remains to be done, and serve as a model of best practice to fulfill commitments countries took upon themselves by endorsing the Terrorism Declaration. Much time has passed, and the need for action is urgent. As we mark the 75th anniversary of the end of the Holocaust, the legacy of the Nazis' mass looting. Sounds so familiar, don't it? Right? Remains in too many places and largely unaddressed. Given the advanced age of Holocaust survivors, sounds like Tulsa, like they old too, right? Should be urgent for America to get this done, right? Many of whom live in poverty. Yeah. The findings of this report serve as a reminder that countries must act with greater sense of urgency to provide restitution or compensation for the property wrongfully seized from the victims of the Holocaust and other victims of Nazi persecution. All victims of the Nazi regime should be able to live out their remaining days in dignity. And so should the victims of the Tulsa real estate massacre live out their days in victory and prosperity. Y'all playing games with me. Holocaust survivor, Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel put this shameful history into perspective at the June 2019 Prague Holocaust era assets conference that produced the Terrorism Declaration. Just measure the added ugliness of their hideous crimes. They stole not only the wealth of the wealthy, but also the poverty of the poor. Only later did I realize that what we so poorly call the Holocaust deals not only with political dictatorship, racist ideology, and military conquest, but also with financial gain, state-organized robbery. And in our case, state-sanctioned and organized robbery. The police was involved. The judges were involved. That is state-sanctioned theft. And what should have happened long before now is that the very people who did that, we should have in every state, there should be something in every state, one of these restitution offices that deals with the restitution of giving back to ADOS in that state what was stolen from them. If they're not here, that should be given back to their descendants. That should be part of a national reparations framework that should have happened a long time ago. This fight shouldn't even be our fight. If these people were not such racist, jealous, hateful, like this is awful. And so you can see it when it comes to another community. But when it's us, we can't see it. Nobody can see it. We invisible, right? It's been a long time. Holocaust's been a long time too. They still running around. They saying it's difficult. It's hard to get the money back. They saying it's hard, it's difficult, but they got to get the stuff back. But with us, you have to talk about statutes of limitation. What are we talking about? This should be a national case. And let me tell you something else I'm tired of. I'm tired of us only wanting to get on the streets and get out in the streets when somebody gets killed. It's almost like we can only be triggered into action by the loss of life and not the loss of justice, not the loss of liberation, not the loss of wealth, not the loss of quality of life. We should be in the streets. Like, I'm just saying, this is a moment where we should be in the streets, but we can't even see this. Even the people who have gotten shot down. When we talk about George Floyd, remember we talked about his life and what he should have had in terms of wealth. That goes all the way back to this. We can't see that though. We only see the visceral. We only get ignited to action by the visceral kind of shooting down of a person. No. That's a very limited perspective. The Terrorism Declaration emphasized the importance of private property restitution and compensation. This should be a part of our reparations bill that should have been passed a long time ago. And called upon countries that had not yet done so to implement national programs to address immovable real property, including private, communal, airless. So even if you don't have an airless property, confiscated by Nazis, fascists, and their collaborators. The 2009 declaration, also with its 2010 companion guidelines and best practices, called for fair, comprehensive claims processes that do not discriminate based on citizenship or residency, and that are expeditious, simple, accessible, blah, blah, blah. Because the Jewish people scatter everywhere after Holocaust, so you can't discriminate on that because they're everywhere now. At the request of the Special Envoy for the Holocaust issues, U.S. embassies prepared the initial drafts of country chapters based on information from foreign government officials. Look how good the government can get, even the American government, at restitution. Ain't no statute of limitation. We're gonna find that money. We're gonna find that nice. We're gonna find whoever we gotta find, however long it takes. The Office of Special Envoy, based in Washington, D.C., then collected and analyzed additional information and consulted to the extent possible with domestic and international restitution experts and organizations, including academics, community leaders, and relevant U.S. government and non-governmental institutions. These factors notwithstanding, the United States remains a recognized leader on Holocaust-era restitution, but not for us. Our own country can do restitution for other people, but not for us. Ain't that something? Is not that something? Strong U.S. government leadership and advocacy were decisive in the conclusion of many of the major restitution agreements to date. These include, for example, agreements with Switzerland, Germany, slave and forced labor insurance property, Austria, slave and forced labor insurance private property, France, bank accounts and deportations on the French railway, the restitution agreements and settlements in a number of Central and Eastern European countries. Boy, we good at restitution. We great at it. If you could replicate that right here, how we gonna do reparations? Just like this. We got all the records. We got all the money. We know what was burned down. We know who their kids were. We got all that stuff. We don't need nothing else. America just don't want to do it. America and the Americans who are on our side whisper to each other, what would the racists say? You might, listen, it's not our fault that you all didn't deal with the Confederates like you should have. America has always been fine with doing a deal with the devil. And that's kind of a problem because the devil don't go away when you do a deal with him. You're going to sell your soul on that forked road. Yeah, he ain't going to go away. He got a piece of you now. You got to deal with it. That's not our fault. Got nothing to do with us. All kind of bank accounts and stuff. The estimated rates of poverty and near poverty for Holocaust survivors range from 32% for the 174,000 who live in Israel, 35% for the nearly 80,000 who live in the United States, and nearly 90% for the estimated 56,000 Holocaust survivors who live in the states that were part of the former Soviet Union. The appeal that Elie Wiesel, y'all remember when Oprah was walking with Elie Wiesel? I wonder if she talked to him about reparations at all. When she was, y'all remember that show? I remember that show when she was with him. I think he's passed on now, but I remember that show. At the 2009 Prague conference remains a call to action. They have suffered enough, and enough people benefited from their suffering. That sounds so familiar. He's preaching an Adolf story too. Why not do everything possible and draw from all available funds to help them live their last years with a sense of security? Yeah, I think we saw that part before. Yeah. Most Holocaust survivors and their heirs have not been able to benefit to file private property claims under Croatia's restitution. So they're saying that like Poland, they have problems. So they're saying that like we have problems in some places. We're doing good in other places. That's good that y'all are keeping a record of that. That's so good, y'all keeping a record of what's going on, ain't it? My goodness. One reason some countries have held back is concern about the magnitude of property left heirless by the Nazi extermination of Jews in their countries and the potential cost of a compensation settlement. In that regard, individual reports show the variety of mechanisms countries have taken in partnership with local Jewish communities. This includes, in some cases, settling for a fraction of the value of the heirless and certain other remaining property and applying those funds toward endowments and foundations that assist needy survivors and reinvigorate the small Jewish communities left in their countries. They figured they done figured it out. But this is what we got dealt. We got dealt with. No, there's nothing we can do. There ain't nothing we can do. We sorry. But we're really not sorry. Because if we were sorry, we would do something. But there's nothing we can do. There's one thing I want y'all to leave with today is the understanding that there is absolutely something America can do. America doesn't have a problem. America's problem is not one of what is possible. Like what this shows you is that in this situation, you actually knew who the victims were. They've been filing since the 1920s and America still said no. And my problem with my community is that we have decided that we really don't care as a community, not as ADOS, but as a community, we have decided that we really don't care. We were and Twitter got us the algorithm is trash. It's just showing you fight videos and junk. My Twitter used to be just all news and political commentators. Now it's just, they just want you to be stuck on here watching this stuff. They want to steal your attention. They want you to be stuck on here. Oh, he punched her. Oh my God, what he gonna do next? What are you gonna do if these people can, plunder with impunity? Like what is I just want to know what that looks like. I'm just trying to say, you have to recover what was lost. There's no starting from here. I don't even know why we just gotta start right here and build. They did that. They did that thing. You don't think what if this government doesn't send a signal that we are serious about ADOS redress, you don't think that could happen again? I do. I know it could. They already keep trying to start a civil war. And it's always over race. It's always over ethnicity. They keep trying. It's not us. We're not the problem. We've never been the problem. It's them. What you keep trying to start a civil war? Well, I was trying to trigger it. They keep trying to trigger it. They said that thing today came. They were trying to trigger one in Atlanta. You keep trying to trigger something. What's wrong with you? And America don't want to deal with it. And we don't want to force them to deal with it. Not in mass. We do. Me, you, and people in the chat, us in the ADOS movement, we want to deal with it, and we're dealing with it. But we have too many people, honestly, who just don't feel like you can go around it, or you can kind of wiggle woggle. What that thing was, the wiggle wobble? This is Black wealth interrupted. Right? Because back then, Black was ADOS, 1921. That's what it was. So what do I don't even know what anybody's talking about. Right? I don't know how you love each other if you're not fighting for this. I don't know how you love each other if the main content is 50 Cent. He went there and whatever. I don't know what love looks like if that's what it is. And if you don't have love, you don't have community. If you're not fighting for each other, what you fighting for? Well, I'm gonna get mine. You not. You watch. you gonna have your hat to the back at 65, still talking that same junk, and you won't let yourself believe that you're 65 because the life didn't turn out the way you figured. Keep it up. Keep it up. You don't have a community without love. You don't have a community without paying attention to this. You don't have a community without fighting for this. You don't have a community where you can't see nuance, where the only thing you can see is somebody getting, and that's horrific. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be in the street for that, but this is wealth, because the lack of this leads to that. If you can't make that connection, Houston, we have a problem. So that is what it is, family. It was a sad day for justice. It's a sad day when you realize that people, will do more for Jay Morrison and pay more attention for Jay Morrison and rally around Jay Morrison to get money and tell you just being negative, but won't rally around real Tulsa, right? And the people and the victims of that. Regardless of how you feel about Israel, Gaza, all of that stuff, you see people rallying around each other. You see different sides rallying for their side. We just feel like we're just some amorphous group. And that means that if you feel that way and you feel like you're just an individual in the world, then you're not a group. And you'll never do anything good. Because all that good stuff comes through collective work. They might not tell you that. They might tell you, yeah, we're all capitalists, we all fight. Yeah, white people fight. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about groups within groups. And we're 14% of the population. Not even that, because they don't disaggregate. If we don't know how to fight for each other and for justice, we're going to have some more problems. That's not going to be the only one. But fam, I'm at 55 minutes. So I'm going to come out of here for a second and set up the phones if you want to call in. And we can have the conversation. I'll be right back. All right, family, we are back. We are back. We are back. I'm going to the calls. I am going to 617 617. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? I
This is Alonzo Johnson from Boston. Yvette, can you hear me?
can hear you now.
Okay. I just want to say that me, my wife, and my peoples, we all support and love you and so on. But I just
Hold on a
want to
second.
say, I
Hold on
was
a second,
listening
fam.
to you tonight, and the only thing I was thinking was when Quiz Flip said to you, can't we do something else? We got to do something else. And I was just thinking, okay, when we do something else and that get destroyed, Quiz, what are you prepared to do? Like, you personally, what are you prepared to do? So that's all I wanted to call in and say and ask and mention. But I hope you have a blessed day, and we love you. And
Thank you, fam.
Keep doing what you're doing, please.
No, I appreciate you.
And my wife says hi.
Oh, tell her I say what's up. Tell wife I said what's up.
She said what's up. All right, thank you.
No, you have a good one, fam. And I think that's a good question. Like, listen, they destroyed it, right? So if they destroy it again, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? We gonna file lawsuits again, and then nothing happens, right? We and the red summer we was outside with guns. We never defended that. Yes, we did. They defended it then too, but there was it's still more of them than us. I don't care how you cut it. It's more of them than us. We need the justice system to work. I don't care how I'll be outside. Well, they're gonna roll you down a hill. Like, it needs to be. Those people were defended. They defended that area too. But it's weird. Even without this aggregation, we 14%, fam. I don't know how everybody thinks this is supposed to end. Without justice, it works for us. Anyway, let me go to the next call. I am going now to 412. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, my name is Renee. I'm calling from Pittsburgh. How are you, Yvette?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm sitting up here. I was about to work out, but at 11:15, I got stuck watching you. I got stuck watching you. This is a great. And sitting here eating a bag of pretzels.
Don't eat the whole bag. Don't eat the whole bag. You gotta stop yourself.
I know I had to. I'm listening to this right now, and I'm just, girl, every time you talk, it upsets me, but I understand. I see it. We all are here. I feel you. But Yvette, when you said we are aggregate, I think we are. You think we're more than 14%? Are we just not being? Or we're not being reported on a census because we're not telling people are just not what to report to the government. Black America.
I think we're less than. I think ADOS is. I think ADOS is actually less than 14%. I think the reason we think it's so much more of us is because we live around each other. Like, if you go to like all of the Midwest, like if you go to a lot of places in the Midwest, not all. I'm not talking about Chicago. I'm not talking about Detroit. If you even think that's I'm talking about. I have been in places where it ain't nothing but white people. There's not a Negro around. So it's just, so I believe that. We believe that because the places where we live amongst each other for the most part. So we see each other. So we like, it's a lot of other here. I'm in Atlanta. I'm in whatever. No, I think that data's right.
Yeah, I was thinking that too because I was saying we've been 14%. I was looking at something, maybe about 2000, maybe 1992, and we were like at 9% or 14%. I was looking at something the other day, and I said, we got to be more than that because this is what I'm just so upset about. When Tulsa, and I know I know about Tulsa with family that lived through that as well, and I see it, and they just give the money to people who are from another country. And I've seen an article regarding the Jewish population coming over and getting money. It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind in a way to say, okay, why should I still be involved in government issues when government don't care about us? I mean, the way the population coming in from immigrants trying to surpass that, we're going to still be on the bottom of the totem pole. I see a lot of this, and I just don't know how to sometimes handle it or talk to my family because it's like, listen, y'all, I mean, you have to get on with your life. I said, yeah, I am, but you have to understand this is important too, because we can't lose it.
But this is how you get on with your life. Like, this is how you get on with your life. There's no way to get on with your life by ignoring this. You get on with your life by getting involved in this. And the reason we can't get it together is because too many of our people believe that you can get on with your life without doing the politics of life. And then when stuff turns out bad, they want to talk about it individually. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, I went to apply for this and I didn't have it. Well, look at the budget. I can tell you who they gave it to. But you don't want to talk about that when it's time to fight for the budget allocations. You want to talk about it when the consequence happens. We're not talking about it when the consequence happens. The consequence is somebody getting shot down in the street. But you didn't want to talk about how much the police was getting budgeted, right? You don't want to talk about how to put those resources here or there. You don't want to talk about that part of it. We only want to talk about it when the consequence happens.
Crump and Sharpton. I can't with them. Yeah.
I hear you.
It's sad.
Yeah. But they don't understand outcomes. They don't understand outcomes. You have to understand outcomes and what leads to outcomes. And what leads to all these bad outcomes is that we don't get involved enough. Like, and we don't get it, and we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Like, even somebody, like, even told this person about Hunter Biden. Well, Yvette, do you want whatever? Why do you care about that man? Like, you have people online who care. I'm saying you have people online who care about Hunter Biden more than they care about their brother. I'm talking about blood brother, not even your brother in terms of being ADOS. More than they care about their sister, more than they care about their auntie, more than they care about the uncle. The uncle be in jail and they say, yeah, he deserved that. He got on that stuff early, but you care about Hunter Biden. Get off my internet.
I know. I feel you, Yvette. I feel you because I'm sitting here right now. I said, why the CBC running around for Israel and immigrants? They should have been down in Tulsa, helping down there in Tulsa. You don't hear peep out of them. And that's why I don't respect the Congressional Black Caucus. I can't respect them.
You shouldn't.
I don't respect them.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I don't.
But I
all can jump in the lake. I don't respect them. I can't. I don't. I can't. I just can't. I mean, I just can't. None of them.
But they haven't done anything to be respected. So, yeah, you shouldn't respect them. Like, honestly, this should have been an all hands on deck. And this is also the problem when you talk about Telecom Act, when you talk about not really having no ADOS media. The whole point of us having an ADOS media is to point our attention in a certain direction. Well, when you have all this gutter degenerate media that wants to tell us what Blueface doing, who gives a rat's butt? Like, but that's what's on there. They want to tell us that. They want to tell us who said this, who's fighting with who. Well, these people are robbing you of your attention, and your attention is so important when it comes to stuff like this. Your attention. So they're telling us you got to pay attention to everything that's happened overseas. Oh my God, Ukraine. Nobody's telling you this Tulsa story should be where your attention is focused at. And if you can't focus your attention, you can't do nothing. You can't do nothing if you can't do that.
We focus our attention, right, because I'm always focused on Black America. I could care less about Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, and you can't get mad at me because when we say Black folks staying out of it, we staying out of it. Ain't a lot of us over there, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm done. I'm just so, girl, I mean, I just read, I hear you, and then I look at articles, and then I see things, and I say, okay, sometimes I feel powerless, but yeah, I do feel power. Mm-hmm. So I'm just in between right now. Where's my next move? But I am coming down to New Orleans.
Hey! We're going
in October. I'm definitely am. I'm just, and I get my feel from everybody. I listen to everybody, but I got to be conscious of who I listen to. But the people I listen to, yeah, okay. I may disagree, may agree with some things, but they feel the same thing I feel. And that's like, I'm not the only one, because everybody feel it. And that's why I'm thinking y'all being blocked off, because they're putting up 50 cent, all these entertainers. Why are they gatekeeping the people to know knowledge? Like you, Tone, and other folks. I don't understand that. What are they scared of?
Well, they're scared of justice. Like, if America has to pay, that's big. And it's going to be a whole revolt amongst the white supremacists. And you will have to put the National Guard out, and half of them is on the side of the white supremacists. So that's what they're scared of. But listen, that's what has to happen for this country to be a country.
And them illegals, they ain't gonna be on our side.
Oh no, they already told us. They already told us we don't work hard enough. A lot of them already told us y'all don't work hard enough. We'll work. They already told us they come in here as competition. Yeah. That man told that woman at that little thing. I can't remember what it was, but child, I don't know how we don't see this kind of stuff happening. And it ain't even the fact of where I don't care about what's happening somewhere. my whole question is, what is the effectiveness of your voice? You just have to think about, where is my voice most useful? And your voice is most useful here. And I have a word for everybody. If you can't get justice in your backyard, you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to get justice across the water. That's my whole thing. You ain't got justice here. Like it's almost like you take a job to clean folks' house and your house dirty. You haven't cleaned up your own house. You got dishes in the sink. There's all kind of stuff on the carpet. The windows need washing, and you want to tell me about how you finna go clean somebody? Clean this first. Order of operations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate you though, and I'm gonna look forward to seeing you in New Orleans. No, thank you. I appreciate you.
See you in New Orleans. Yes, I'll be there.
All right, now you put them pretzels down.
All right.
All right, I'm going to pretzels are good. I like pretzels too. I like me a good pretzel. I think I'm out of them though, but I do enjoy them. I am going now to 578. I mean, no, that's not 578. 678. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, hi, Yvette. This is Emil calling out of Atlanta. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you? Can you turn your sound up just a little bit? You're a little low to me. I don't know what everybody else saying.
Okay.
Okay,
Is this
you
better
better.
now?
Yeah, better on my end.
Thank you so much, Yvette. I'm glad I caught your show this evening, sister. You are on fire. I mean,
thank you.
Truly inspired me. Let me take you off speaker.
No, I said you. No. Go ahead, fam. Oh, okay.
I mean,
Y'all got to come to the conference too, the summit. Go ahead, fam. New Orleans. Go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
I just want to give you your flowers because I've been listening to you and Tone since I think about 2017 or 2016. And the level of information and education that you provided to us is profound. One of the reasons why these issues still are perpetuated in America is because it's clearly that the children are not being taught by people who are as brilliant such as yourself. And I'm Haitian. I came to America at the age of 7.
Okay.
But I don't have European lenses, and it was brought to my attention early, some of the disparities and the differences and the nuances that go on in America.
Okay.
I'm from New York, so a lot of things were just quickly apparent to me, and I was able to grasp what the hell is going on in this world in the early days.
I understand.
And so I totally get it, but I just love how you were just relentless and you don't stop, because these people are wicked, man. Every day I talk to young people, I talk to black folks, and they don't understand how savage and wicked people are.
Well, you said that your people are Haitian. You should know too. You should know. Like I don't think they get it.
Yeah, absolutely, I know. And this is one of my biggest struggles with succeeding in America, because with me, I thought that I was going to be just a great blue-collar worker, work in the office. I'm a nice guy. I articulate well. I managed to, do some studies in telecommunications engineering and, get along with white folks. But as I got older and my revolutionary spirit became more inflamed, I might say I got to give credit to Dr. Umar and the Hidden Colors DVD.
Oh, Lord.
Something wasn't right. Excuse me, but I got to keep it real with you, because I love you.
I appreciate your honesty, child.
And things were just weren't sitting right. And then, because of those effects, it kind of brought that fire back in me. But Yvette, I tell you, I can't even go back in the office because I know going amongst these people is a waste of time. Like, how many more years of my life do I have to listen to the white women and white men talk about sports, talk about their children, talk about their homes, talk about their grandfathers.
They're great lives. They're great lives. They're great lives.
Great lives. And they talk about things that I can't talk about because, what I'm saying is I'm invisible. Because the minute I start talking about things that impact me, I have to refer to blackness. You understand what I'm saying? And once I identify myself, I become human. I become a human. But then they say now I'm talking about race.
Yeah, and then we got we don't want to get into that. We don't want to get. We don't really want to talk about that. Yeah, nobody wants to hear about your suffering and what you get impacted. You're supposed to come here and talk about a puppy. What's your puppy name? What kind of toy is your puppy like?
And I'm telling you, Jesus Christ. And even sometimes when I do bring up the reality of the politics in this world, they attempt to make it appear, hey, can you educate me? And once I start talking about the money, no, I don't have money. I don't know nobody that has money.
Listen,
the last individual
let them
in my
tell
life
it. Let them tell it. They don't know nobody that got money. But
there's
that.
300 million white folks, so you're not gonna know everyone with money.
But even the ones in the middle and even the ones in the middle and even the ones in the middle and the lower middle have more than we have. Like they don't understand Black and ADOS poverty. So they will have $100,000 in investments and be like, I don't have money, because they know that like that's not big money in terms of like they're supposed to have $1 million by now. So they think they don't know that like no, us not having money is like being in a grocery store and trying to check your account before you go to the cash out. Like they don't understand that, and they don't care to understand it. That's the problem that we deal with. Except for the people, shout out to the white allies who watch the show. I hear from y'all, so don't say to you, no, we're here. I know. Not saying everybody.
Absolutely. And there's so many nuances, right? These people have they're 320 million and numbers. You understand what I'm saying? So when you do the math, there's for every 6.5 per body that's classified as a white person, there's only one Black person, right? So even if you were to even everything out on a 1-to-1 ratio, they still have I'm sorry, I'm forgetting my math, but what I'm saying is for every 6.5 white person, there's only one Black person, right? So the idea of us being able to catch up, that would take years in and years out.
Well, also let me just say this. When people say catch up, and this was the ignorance of the Boyce Watkins analogy. He was like, we can catch up. People behave as if white folk are gonna stay still and allow us to catch up. Like just because we're here doesn't mean they use their advantage to maintain our position and take advantage and give us exploitative capital and subprime capital. They use that to keep us here. They're not fixed, right? This just the stupidity of somebody who would say, well, you can catch up. They're not staying still. It's just like if you're racing somebody, they're not gonna stand there and be like, what's taking you so long? No, they're out of here. And they could that's not even the best analogy, because they're going to use their position to make sure that we stay where they are so they can continue to take advantage.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I live on Camp Creek now. I used to live in Roswell. I'm sure you're familiar with Roswell, off Holcomb Bridge Road. But now I live off Camp Creek. And I got to tell you, I love Camp Creek. I love Old Fairburn Road. I love seeing that Black money. But I tell folks all the time, even, I drive Uber sometimes, right? Folks jump in my vehicle, especially brothers, because I love conversing with them. And I tell them, one way that I believe that you're able to identify good change in our communities is when you see companies like AT&T, Verizon, Fortune 500 companies opening up business directly in the heart of our communities. Because you see, these folks who live in Canton, they'll drive 45 minutes, an hour, or even more. I had a director who lived all the way in Athens, close to 2 hours just to come to work in Sandy Springs. Wow. You understand? And her thing was, hey, you know what? I'm not giving up my school district. She may have been European, or she may have been Hispanic passing as European. That kind of mindset. But I tell folks, things are not going to change. So you see these big corporations, Fortune 500 companies, embed their business in our community so that we don't have to drive 45 minutes to an hour, so that the wealth could stay in our community. But when we drive 45 minutes to an hour, it's stressful for us. When they drive 45 minutes to an hour, it's a joy.
Well, let me just say this: like, what makes a good community? Because that's the question, right? Because corporations like to have their headquarters in good communities, meaning good schools. Absolutely. They like to see good schools. They like to see a certain kind of demographic there. So the question is, what does it take to make our communities that they see as quote unquote not good? Well, a lot of things have to change, and that's not something that we're invested in. So.
Yes, we haven't been. And that wealth, and before I go, I'm going to say that, and that wealth has to be in our hands so that we can dictate our future. What does Israel say right now? Israel said that they're in the game of what's that term that they use? Pretty much dictating their future, right? And even the prime minister has said if America wants to thwart that or stop that, hey, they're willing to take it to other measures, right? So we want to be able to say, if you're on Panola Road, we want to be able to say, hey, man, this is a great community. Look at these businesses that are thriving, and here, that, and the third. When we go into these communities in Atlanta, because I've been in Georgia for at least 16 years now, I've seen many, many numerous communities on the north side and on the south side, the east and the west. And I tell you, it's not until we get that in reparations till your son or your daughter or your friend could wake up and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to become a day trader today. Here's $25,000. I turned 25 into 150,000 in a week. I bought 3, 4, 5 properties. Not only did I do that, I hired this guy to do the grass. Okay. I hired this guy to do the grass. I hired this guy to do some roofing and painting. Now I'm going to get with this other brother, put 50,000 here, start a taxi company, and then I'm going to do that, this, that, and the third. And that is how you empower. And that's how you empower Black America.
Well, and it's sad that we have to do that when we already did it. It's sad that Black Wall Street was us doing that, and you have to recreate the wheel because white people burned down the wheel. And I think and you have to look at not having money too as a driver in crime. A lot of these crimes, businesses like to come to a community with low crime. A lot of these crimes are poverty crimes. So you deal with poverty, you deal with poverty crimes too as well. But I want to thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling. I'm gonna try to get to a couple more callers before we get out of here. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. You have a good one. You be safe out there driving.
I appreciate you. You have a good one. I'm
you too.
To support.
Thank you. Appreciate you, fam. Let me go to a couple more before we get out of here. I'm going now to 850. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing, Sister Beck? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, fam. What's going on?
Man, it's been a long time, sister. I'm glad to catch up with you. I'm going to move quickly, dive in. Just maybe about 45 minutes ago, Sister Vet, you was in the front of the classroom. You took a 3D model and literally walked the family down through the community of all these different businesses and shops and dentist office and doctor offices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I messed around. I normally don't look in the chat. I normally be focused directly on what you're teaching. But I looked in the chat, and I seen people writing about, we got to build our own table. And it just kind of like totally, let me try to find a good word. It just kind of really upset me there for a minute. Because I said, fam, what are y'all, the sister is showing you. She's put mad emphasis on how these people came out of slavery and built this.
Built it.
And then she walked you right down you're not going to get that nowhere. She walked y'all in 3D model right through this community, and you still turn around and come in this sister's chat and say, well, we got to build our own table. Like, what's the matter with the family? Like, we got to, like, when this sister's teaching, fam, I've been rocking with this lady a long time. When this sister is teaching, her chat is not something for y'all to just come and hang out and just, pop bubble gum in a nice way. This lady's teaching y'all, and you're really showing your picture to even come in the chat and say, oh, we need to really build our own table. We need to figure out how to build a table. When she just showed you these people came from slavery. You're talking about late 1800 into 1920 and built this thing. It didn't happen overnight. We don't know how much time they stayed up getting it just right. They're in Tornado Valley, for God's sake. They even took that, I'm sure, into consideration, even in that period of time. Built it, and then these people come in, burn it down, and then here we are in 2024. After these different people done came and schemed up money using their name out of context to build their own pockets. And then they turn around, build this thing down, and then y'all come into the chat and say, we need to build our own table.
And hold on. Wait a minute a second, fam. And isn't the belief that we can just redo that in 2024 without any redress, isn't that part of how we got to Jay Morrison? That belief that, like, yeah, we just gonna do it again. It's gonna be easy. We just all gonna put $5. Like, this is 2020. Do people don't understand the difference between 1920 but they built it before then. So people don't understand the leading up to that and building of that community versus what you need in 2024. You will actually need that community to be there, pass down wealth and knowledge and everything that came with it, build other communities that will lead into 2024 unimpeded by white mobs. That's what gets us here. And you have to make up for that.
Have to. That just kind of rattled me there for a minute. I take your shows very seriously. I got off from work. I came in. I'm in Florida. It's hot here, okay? I came in, took me a nap so I can get refreshed, so I can get up. I looked into the X. I hadn't checked X in a long time, but I saw what you had put in there, and I was like, no, I didn't. Oh my goodness. So here's my quick, let me move swiftly so I can get off. My one question to you, and if you can't answer that now, that's fine. I just want to kind of throw it out there. I wonder if they would have used, or if they could have used some of the language that the Supreme Court had came back with in that denial. I think the sister and them were from out of North Carolina. I should know that. That's my home, that's my folks' home state. But the language that they put in there as far as it being directed to a particular group, even though I know they had that. You got the descendants. You got them right there in front of you. So I'm aware of that. But I was just wondering if they would have maybe pulled a little language out there to kind of spice it up. I'm not even too for sure if that would have worked or not. But I was curious to know if maybe if you do get a chance to talk to that attorney to see if they checked that out with the Supreme Court. I think it was around November, October sometime when they came back with that ruling to the people there in North Carolina, as far as that was on that reparation. You know what I'm talking about. I just that would be crazy. I get on the phone with you now my mind going blank. But
it's all right.
Anyway, if they would have pulled some of that language from out of that ruling to add into this to maybe, cover, at least have it mentioned in there. And the last thing I wanted to tell you when I talked to you, I wanted to give my apologies. So I'm here in Pensacola. I live in Escambia County. You had a young man that did pretty good. He was from DeKalb County. I lived in DeKalb. I stayed down with Snap Fingers back in the day.
Okay.
Right up off Wesley Chapel.
Okay.
But anyway, the brother was, and it is, we all seen it. The brother was a senior airman, 23 years old, over in my neighboring county, Okaloosa County, over in Fort Walton. And he's the one that the officer played with his door, and the boy opened it up. He got his gun down. He had his hand, had his other hand up.
Yeah, he shot him. He shot him. Filled him with bullets in the head.
So I was looking in the chat, and listen. I literally, single-handedly, for the first time ever in my life, I did like a little quick, because they were lying. They kept trying to paint this picture that the cop had came up, knocked on the door, and announced himself.
No, he didn't. We saw the video. We know that didn't happen. He knocked on the door, walked away from the peephole. Somebody's banging on your door. You go to the door with the gun, but the gun is down beside you. The gun is not pointed at anybody. You tell the man with the gun that is not pointed at you to back up, and then you fill him with bullets. So once we saw the video, we knew that was a lie. So yeah, we know that's a lie. So
I just wanted to throw that out there, just how quick we have to really, all of us, the chat, yourself, me, the callers, we all have to stay on top of this concerning our people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're a small family, but with a big heart. And we've been here a long time. And I had to single-handedly definitely get that out there that, no, they're not telling the truth.
Yeah, we saw the video. We all saw the video. Yeah, the video made it clear. I don't want to rush your call, but I just want to try to get a couple more people in really quick. But yeah, the video made it clear.
We'll talk to you next time.
All right, now appreciate you. Yeah, but the video made it clear. Like the video made it clear. I was at the door. No, you walked away from the peephole. So you go to the peephole. You don't know who it is. You don't have the gun aimed. You have it down by your side. You open the door. It's a cop. He says, back up. Bow, 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 bow. Come on. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah, we saw. We know what y'all do. 909, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, what's happening? How y'all doing? Blessings.
Pretty good. How about you?
So you do hear me? Cool.
I can hear you.
I'm David Dimitri. I'm calling from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Okay.
I'm from San Bernardino City, California. And you know how fucked up San Bernardino is.
Language.
Yeah, but I study international humanitarian law at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in Geneva.
Okay.
I was a world debate champ, and I understand reparations. I did an internship throughout multiple SADC states, Southern African democratic countries, while I was over there. And this is a travesty. What they have been doing to us for hundreds of years, man. Hundreds of years. I wrote an article in 2020 for the LA Sentinel newspaper. And it was on Black Wall Street. I wrote two, actually, for Black History Month. For that year in 2020, y'all can look it up. David Johnson But what I want to say is, I feel like the karma is up on them. Now, if people understand international humanitarian law, the ICC courts, and also understand the judicial and Supreme Court and everything in the United States of America, we should have had our reprieve. We should have not only had finances, land, blase, everything and anything. We should have everything free for at least 100 to 200 years. We should be having things free right now. The American natives have. They just blundered it. And so, if you understand what's going on with the courts and you study and you internship and all that stuff in Southern Africa with the Truth and Reconciliation Commissions like I did and everything, you will understand that we're basically living in a prison. If you're ADOS, Black American, African American, we're in tragic circumstances. No matter if you're middle class, poor, or upper class, and the Black Boule have cemented it.
Mm-hmm.
The sellout, taking the bribes for cash, and all this have cemented it. Acting like entertainment. Malcolm X said it. Entertainers aren't supposed to be our leaders.
That's true.
You're a leader. You're
That's
a Black
true.
queen. You're doing what needs to be done. And I'm really tired of it. For mental health, you have to cope. My spiritual devotion, we live in it. But those of us that are conscious of it, and I come from the hood. I come from the city of San Bernardino, in the hood. No dad. My mom was blind. I've been through it all. But I made my way up and did what I did. I went over there, and the universe put me in the studying international humanitarian law. I shook Nelson Mandela hand in 2009. I come back here, and when I first came back, I was in D.C. I tried my best with the Boule brothers and sisters to get them going with reparations.
They ain't want to do it.
Gave them my background. To this day, nobody want to work with. Nobody want to put me in there to do the work. I just feel as if, who are the workers? Who's doing it? Nobody online is kicking it like you. Nobody's putting it down like you. This is tragic.
Thank you. I agree. It's tragic.
You've been around and you've seen what I've seen. You know what I know. It's tragic.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think part of the problem is, like, it's tragic. Like, what you've been through, what you did. I don't know if it's kind of like what they say about you put a little something in water and you boil it. They don't know it's being boiled because you just turn it up a little bit by little bit by little bit. I don't think our people in the majority know how tragic this is, or know how there's a particular way that a bottom caste racialized group ends, especially with hyperinflation and AI and everything that's coming down this pipe. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's a particular way this ends and it's not good. But I think because we have survived so long in spite of things, some of us believe that we're superheroes. And it's just kind of like, no, like, you don't understand that people were doing the work even for the survival to happen. There were always people doing the political work. You just can't decide that we have never lived through a period where we abdicated the political work. That's not what happened. But I think we have people now who think that that's just not important. We don't have to deal with that. I can go get money. Money's green. Well, 50 Cent told you he don't, and he's not the best example. We know all that he doesn't know. But like he told you, he don't know Capitol Hill for himself. They messing with him. Yeah, of course they messing with you. Why wouldn't they?
Street mentality. That's a street mentality that they carry in their middle class, upper class, even wealthy Black Americans, and it's not right. We need to be telling the truth. Those of us that's in those positions and investing into the truth.
Absolutely.
Look what they did. That's a slap in the that's a slap in the face to not give reprieve, not give funds to the living proof and evidence of what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That is an act of war, man. That's bragging.
Yeah, they're saying it's too late. Yeah, they're saying it's too late. Yeah, I agree with you. Colin. I think they are, but a movement requires a certain number of people, and that's what we're building. But people have to understand that they're in the hot water. Like, we just have too many people that don't understand that they're in the hot water. And then they want, when they get in the hot water and somebody gets arrested and you don't have, I get an attorney, then you find out how much an attorney is, then you want reprieve. No. We have to start right here, and it works as a collective. We're not the majority, so it doesn't work that way, So I appreciate you calling in, fam, and telling us about your experience. I appreciate it. It was a good call. Thank you so much. I'm gonna try to get one or two more in here. I appreciate you, fam. You have a good day, all right? And keep your head up. All right, fam. Appreciate you. Yeah, I agree. But we be thinking we superheroes. 225. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Miss Yvette. This is BB calling in from Baton Rouge. How are you?
Hey, Baton Rouge. What's going on?
I'm doing good. This is my first time calling in, and I had to call in because you were just preaching today. I couldn't agree with you more. I definitely feel like we are too caught up with everyday distractions that really aren't helping us move forward as a community. Everything is Diddy, Blueface, so many different things that aren't important, such as what we're talking about today, which is the people who were in Tulsa and how this was a travesty of justice. Mm-hmm. It's just a shameful how, Miss Viola Fletcher, 110 years old, and Leslie Randall, 109 years old, two victims who've been blessed to live this long, but definitely are more than deserving of justice for the horrific things that they endured. It just is terrible, and I definitely think that everything that you're saying is on point. And another thing that came to my mind about this situation is that the Oklahoma Supreme Court, they seem to have a serious lack of diversity. I saw that there were 9 justices on the court, and it really makes me think about how we need so many more Black people going into the law field, more Black judges. But you're starting to see so many of our people say, well,
and they have one. They had one recently retired too. They had one that was appointed by a Democrat who recently retired. I think they retired in like 2019 or 20. I was looking at it earlier today. Yep. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely something that came to my attention, and I said to myself, 9 and all of them are white, so I'm sure that of course played into the decision. But it makes me feel like we definitely need more Black lawyers and judges. I know that we have very few that are Black in the U.S., and I just, keep thinking about how now there's so many people that say, I want my child to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, not realizing that only 2% of the business owners that are Black even have employees. So these are all things that I think are very relevant, and I just appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. And I don't think we have to have, it's not just, we have to have Black, we have to have, when I'm talking about ADOS, and if we have Black allies too, that's wonderful too. But I think we have to have ADOS judges and lawyers with a certain mindset too, though. Like, you can't be an ADOS judge and don't have the mindset for ADOS uplift. I'm not saying you got to be out front about it, but when it comes time to make that decision, I need you to decide in the right way. I need to count on you. I need somebody that I can depend on in terms of what this outcome is going to look like. And that's why, I've always said that one of the things I would love to see ADOS Advocacy Foundation do is be the pipeline for like vetting those judges. The same way you have the Federalist Society and all those people, they brought people up and they would vet these lawyers to be judges and talk about who they wanted on the Supreme Court if there was a pick. We don't have that. So it's just you have to vet these people before they're even up for these judgeships. So okay, this is who we're gonna push. He's so and so, he's out of this district, whatever. We can have him over there. He's gonna be the appeals court, whatever. Like it, but you have to have our mindset. That has to be the thing. It's because we have to go through this, that's gonna be their litmus test. Yeah, we have to have a litmus test too, but we don't get into those nuanced things. We feel like just saying blue no matter who, vote blue no matter who is just the thing to do. No, we have to have a certain set of values, a certain set of outcomes that we want to see, a certain set of politics that we adhere to as a group. And we just, for some reason, we have a problem with that. So.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with you on that about the mindset. I understand that, as they say, all of our skin folk are our kinfolk. Mm-hmm. So I certainly believe that we need people who have that mindset. And it's just a shame that they didn't get it right for Ms. Fletcher and Ms. Randall. I think that ADOS people should be livid, with this decision, should be very upset and definitely should have some type of, I don't know, if there any protest plan, but there definitely needs to be some action moving forward.
Yeah, and I don't see it. I remember I was pissed when they put who was it, Miss Fletcher, whoever they put in some Jordan ones. Like, I want to give her a pair of shoes. I despise y'all. I don't care what kind of store it was. I do not care. Y'all make all this stuff so unserious all the time. You took them to Ghana and all this stuff. Or whatever. I hate the way that we do stuff. Like, it's just so unserious. I don't know who gave the Jordans. I don't know who took it to Ghana. It's just like, and it's not on my timeline. It's not, people are not outraged on my timeline about it. So, and if it is, it's people who I know, it's people in the movement, or it's people who it's just not enough. And, my fear is that ADOS are going to get real, like, on the bottom before you realize, oh my God, ADOS AF was right. Oh my God, Yvette Antonio were right. Well, the one thing you don't want is for it to be too late. People will spend more time fighting me than fighting the system. You spend more time telling me what I ain't and what I ain't doing, than you spend fighting the real folk to fight. Listen, there are a number of ways to do this. Like, what you fight me for? But anyway, fam, I appreciate you. Yeah. I'm gonna try to get to one more call, but I appreciate you. You're right. Ain't nothing okay. Y'all been right tonight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you're doing.
I thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna go to one last call, fam. My last call is gonna be, who shall it be? Who shall it be? 510. You'll be my last call. 510. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, my name is Eric, and I'm calling from the Bay Area.
What's going on?
To keep it quick, I'm glad to talk to you, Yvette. I've been a long time fan and supporter. So
hey,
thank you, Pat.
Appreciate you.
I just have two quick points. I mean, the thing with reparations that always gets me is that they act like black people are gonna get some money and just hoard it. Y'all gonna get the money right back. I mean, from how we spend to, it's not like we just gonna magically hoard this money in a shoebox under our bed and not, the state that we're in right now, like you said not too long ago, we'll never catch up in terms of, catching up, what really catching up means, just because of decades of a head start. So it's like, the fact that they denounce reparations for black people really tells you how little they think of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that, you have more people posting Kurt Franklin dancing with Kamala at somebody called it a plantation jubilee. They're so consumed. You have a certain sector of black people so consumed with the optics. It's like, my language, but you niggas need to let the optics go. The optics are not doing us any justice.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, I see people so consumed with this, what's going on at the White House, and nobody's talking about this Tulsa stuff. Well, no large platform. It's talking about this Tulsa stuff, and it's real backwards for me. And then, I feel like ADOS, we are kind of in a tug of war from both sides, in the sense that you have this their delusion into thinking they're a middle class, they don't know, you want to be poor, but you want to be wealthy. Like, you want to be seen as wealthy, but you want the benefits of being poor. And it's like, that's not helping us in any way possible.
Well, it just creates confusion. It just creates confusion. Like, if they see you, if all this luxury stuff that you show all the time, and you got the Gucci this and you running around in this car that you can barely afford and living check to check, well, you are projecting that you have something that you don't have, and you just confuse the white folk and the people of color. You know what I mean? Because they don't know. They think if you're expressing wealth, that expression means that that's in your account, and so they must be doing okay. They don't know. Nah, you just a fool acting a fool.
So. Right. And it's like the capitalism that y'all so obsessed with. Capitalism means that money is the bottom line. Y'all are obsessed with like this illusion of capitalism, but in real deal capitalism, money is the bottom line. And we can't even pay to play at this point. And it's like, we got people who are so worried with prison reform, but not building new schools. Like, who's coming after us? You want to get these people who've already had a chance at life and messed up, but you don't want to. We're not trying to build for the people coming after us. And it's just,
Well,
I don't feel like it's the poor black people that's doing it either.
Yeah. It'll be somebody with 4 degrees talking about we have to. Yeah, it'll be and even like what you were talking about, like even in terms of the wealthy class today, you see something from them about, they talk a lot about how this is about anonymity now. Like we're in an era where wealth is about anonymity. So they will have on a shirt that's a very nice shirt. The shirt might cost $100 or whatever the case may be, but they don't even want you to know what the cost is. They want to be totally anonymous if they wear that. Some of them don't even wear it, but they don't want to be seen. We like to be seen and have nothing in savings or whatever, nothing in investments, no money, no wealth, and maybe worth about $3,000, if that. But there's a desire to just be seen and project a wealth that you don't have. To me, that's some type of mental dysfunction. To try to be out here projecting a wealth that you do not have to show off for who? Other broke people, other poor people? You showing off for other poor people? That's crazy.
Right. And then the Jay Morrison thing, it's like we haven't learned from the decades of Sharpton and all these other ones. This is just a new grift, a new era of grift. Because once the Al Sharptons is gone, these new grifters can't even, they don't even got the oral skills to be on that level. But it's like y'all would rather build up these faux, just delusions of grandeur ass people instead of actually reinvesting in the community. I don't want to take too much of your time, but
I appreciate
I had to get that off my chest.
I appreciate you. You're right. I appreciate you. You have a good one. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's gonna be it for the calls tonight, fam. Sorry, I know I missed a lot of people. It's midnight. It's the witching hour, so everybody gotta go to bed. Anyway, fam. Yeah, I just think, we gotta do a better job of defining what care looks like. We talk every day about, well, I care about my people, and I do blackity black, and I do it, and it doesn't look like it. Not from where I sit. If you can't see how consequential a case like this is for reparation or for the path ahead, or rally yourself around it, at least we should be able to use this case to kind of rally people around. Like, this should be a case that we should be able to use as a rallying cry. But you can't use it for that if not enough people care about it. The people believe, for whatever reason, that they still can get it on their own. You can't even use it for that. So it just becomes a very awful kind of situation, right? And man, child, it just becomes kind of crazy. So anyway, fam, please finish your libation. Do whatever you got to do. I will see you all. What is today? If you're on Patreon, I will see you tomorrow. That's patreon.com/ycarnell. If you are not on there, if not, I will see you all in a week. All right. Once again, please get your tickets for the summit, which is in October. Get your little hotel together and all that good stuff. We all tried to put this information out long enough to give everybody time, because we understand the situation. We don't want to pop on you. Hey, we're going to be out there in July. And like, what? Or we're going to be out there in August. What? So we give everybody enough time to get out there and make it do what it do. Also, if you have not gone to joinados.com, please go to joinados.com, become a member. And fam, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Okay. Keep it easy breeze. Don't bother nobody. Don't let nobody bother you. Get yourself some baths. Relieve yourself. Don't go to bed too stressed. Have yourself a little snack. All that good stuff. I will see you all later, fam. Please keep it easy breezy. All right? All right.